Do you have some vintage items in your stash and you need help staging them up or giving them a little bit of a transformation? Well, come join me here and let's get to it. Hello everybody and welcome into Emily's Upcycled Home.
These shoes can stand on their own, but I'm going to dress them up just a tad and make a cute little vignette. I've also painted these white before, but I'm going to leave this one as is with all that beautiful patina. So let's go ahead and jump into that video.
So I have our shoe form here and a cute little piece of lace. I don't know where I got this from. It's just a little strip of lace. It probably came from a doily or something. I'm going to stuff that in there just like a cute little ruffle sock. And that's going to be our first layer, our fabric that's going to soften up this piece. And because it's winter, we're just going to come in with a sprig of pine, add that to the boot or the shoe, and there is the first step to our project. Now I want to place these up on some books here, but these books are really written on. They look not so nice, you guys. Maybe this book doesn't look so bad. I do like that spine, but if you've seen my videos before, you know that I like to dress up books with simple vintage music sheets, so we are going to do that today. Now these are some thrifted music sheets that I've had in my stash for a while. I found them at a Goodwill store in a whole box full, and I'm simply coming in with some Mod Podge here. We're going to place that Mod Podge on the front. Now it came in really thick with that Mod Podge, so I'm going to go ahead and add that to the paper, as well as flipping the book around so that we save some of that Mod Podge mess. And I'm just going to layer that into that paper as well, and then come in, get the edges, and wipe off the rest of my brush. Smoothing out our paper with my hand, I'm just going to make sure that Mod Podge adheres to everything, and then for the edges I'm going to add some more Mod Podge on the inside and fold over those pages. Now I don't want all this writing to show, so as I snip and pull in the pages, I decide also that I'm going to just Mod Podge the inside sheet here and then layer that into our outer cover. Now the inside little pages here, I'm going to make sure they fold in between each layers here and then smooth that out once again with my hand. I don't mind this little missing piece here, just kind of adds to that vintage vibe we're going for. Go ahead and trim off the excess and repeat that step for our other side and come in and taper in the edges here. As far as the outer cover, I'm coming in with a light coat of Mod Podge, sealing everything up, and then we'll set this one aside to dry. Now for the second book here, I'm going to rip off the edge here, saving that also maybe for another craft if we have one. And then I'm going to go ahead and expose that spine here, repeating the process of the same one, layering up the inside cover and folding that into the outer cover and making sure all that binds together, because once again somebody had fun writing on this book. Now as far as this book is concerned, we're coming in with a strip of music sheet here, and we are going to layer that up and just fold in the edges, leaving that edge of our book spine exposed, adding that Mod Podge and just folding those two edges in here. And you notice this one is written on too, so we're going to repeat that process of adding our Mod Podge, layering up our piece, and Mod Podging the inside page into our cover as well. Let's set these aside and let them dry. To make sure our Mod Podge is stuck and firmly down onto our piece, we're reactivating that Mod Podge with our heat tool here. Gonna press in with my fingers, making sure that has a firm bond to our book. Then coming in with some Dixie Belle Best Dang Wax. I'm gonna use my clear coverage here first, blending in that into all of our covers of our book. And this is just going to help so that when I come in with the black wax also by Dixie Belle, it blends a little bit better into the book, not giving us a blotchy surface. I make sure I offload my dark wax, and then we're going to feather in our wax, hitting the edges really darker than the inside, lightening my hand as I maneuver in toward the center of the book. Now this is the second book here, and I'm going to repeat that process for the edge, but on this one I want to come a little bit darker on those pages as well as on that spine, just giving us a little variation between each book. I come in with a napkin to smooth everything out and wipe off the excess, especially where I got really heavy with my wax. I decided to come in with some ribbon here. Now this is just coffee stained ribbon. You just see the variations between the original and the one I coffee stained just by adding this into a cup of coffee. I'm going to come in with this ribbon, tied it around twice, and then hook it up at the end with a cute little bow. Now I want something simple, something versatile for each season, and then we'll go ahead and add our cute little shoe form here with our little decoration. Here is our finished little vignette. You can put this wherever you want in your house. I stage it up with just an open music book in the back. And you guys, let me know, do you decorate with a vintage style in your house? And do you have any shoe forms in your house in your vignettes as well? Look how cute this little book stack came out. Very simple, very transitional piece throughout your seasons, and can easily be recreated. Now don't forget to look for those vintage music sheets and book pages out on your thrift store. Let me know what you guys think of this final look with this cute little vignette. Where would you place it in your home? And don't forget, you guys can catch me over on Facebook for more DIY inspiration and live crafting.
Don't forget to hit that like button and please hit that notification bell. Help my channel out, you guys. The algorithm is kicking my butt and it doesn't want to push my videos out. So I'd appreciate if you hit that notification bell as well as that subscribe button on your way out. You guys probably seen me make these over. I had 3 little spools. I added little Christmas trees, but I had another idea with these spools. So we're gonna go ahead and give this another little makeover using a wood round and a wooden vintage spindle. Hope you guys like this one.
So I took my little vintage spindle here and cut it to the size that I wanted for my spool size here. I'm going to add a little bit of Gorilla Glue to the base, Gorilla Wood Glue to the base here, put that in place, hold that down, and then off camera I put a few brag nails into the base of the piece, giving us a firmer hold. I go ahead and come in with some of this stain or wash I created, and it's just simple black paint and brown paint and water mixed up until the shade I like. Go ahead and layer that up and wipe off any excess. And now if you want a darker tone like I do here, you go ahead and just come in with a second layer of your wash here. Let that set for a little bit and then wipe off the excess. Now I'm coming in with some DIY clear wax and my dark wax brush here because I couldn't find my tin of dark wax. I go ahead and layer that up, wiping off the excess, and then it's time to embellish. I added my little spool here that we painted up on a previous video. I found some vintage scissors that I'm going to place in the center, a little bit of greenery. And then this little ceramic bird, I added to a little spool that you see here on the side, or a little dowel, and place that in the center. And look how adorable this little spool came out, you guys. You can stage this up in the home. You can even take off this decorative thread here and use your own thread and use it for really crafting with if you wanted to. But I just think it's an adorable piece that we transformed very simply and gave it a cute little vintage vibe.
This shoe stands alone. It is a beautiful shoe. The rusty crusty element. It's a cast iron vintage shoe form that we're gonna give a little makeover. Not really a makeover, let's just call it a dress up and stage it in a cute little vignette.
So here's our cute little shoe, the rusty crusty. I just love it. So we're gonna go ahead and add in this cute little succulent to dress this up. I just thought it would look cute in there. I came in with this fabric bow that I already tied. I coffee stained that lace as well, and then of course I want to come in with a vintage button in the center, and I'm going to pick a brown one, keeping in with those brown tones. I go ahead and use my fab tack because that's what I had on my table today. And then you see this little doohickey in the center, this metal circle thing with a stick next to my hand. That's what we're going to use to add into our bow, and I'm just going to lace that through so that it stays. And of course my fab tack's going to take a minute for that button to adhere. Go ahead and add that into our spot here. Now that was just a clip of a photo
stand here that I have, I went ahead and put a little vintage photo. I added a little fab tack on the back just to give me some tackiness so that it stays where I want. That'll be easily removable if you want to come in and add your own photo there. But look how cute this turned out, just giving it a little revamp. And to stage this up, I'm coming in with this cheese box, and I want my shoe form to fit somewhere up here. So we're just going to think about that for a moment and see how we go with this. I bring in these strings here of succulents. I think it's called string of pearls or something. It's faux. And then I go ahead and add that in there. And then I decide to bring in these cute little vintage books as well to stage up the piece. Place my shoe form back on there. And you'll see I'll add another little book in back of that succulent. But look how beautiful this little vignette came out, you guys. We did not paint it. We did not do anything to it. We just embellished our elements that we're finding at thrift stores, on Whatnot. You guys, don't forget about that one, as well as Facebook Marketplace or wherever you're sourcing your items. Dress them up, make them yours, and create cute little vignettes with them. I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I hope you guys love the inspiration here with these vintage pieces. Let me know what inspiration you got from here. And I love layering, you guys. It just builds something special. So I've had these frames in my stash for a while, off and on Marketplace, but they haven't sold. So we're going to give them a transformation, saving those frames and saving the artwork and changing everything out. So let's see how that goes, you guys. So we're going to go ahead and just take these pieces apart first, coming in with my knife and just slicing down the base of the piece and disconnecting all that paper and glue from the backing of our piece. We're going to save these just in case we want to put them back on our piece as our backing. But we're going to use that same knife and come in and pull up all these little staples so that we can remove our glass as well as our print from our frame. Now be careful with this part. You want to make sure those tacks are all the way bent over so you don't break your glass. And once you have that pulled out, we're going to go ahead and save that glass. I'm not sure if we're going to use that for our pictures or not, that we're going to fix up here, or we're just going to go in plain with the board. But I'm going to repeat that process on the second one off camera, and then here is our frame. And I'm going to come in with Dixie Belle's drop cloth, which is a beautiful shade of a creamish whitish color here. I think this color will give our frames a clean, smooth look to them. Now I'm coming in and just adding that layering of drop cloth along the inside, the outside. We're going to fully cover this, and off camera I'm probably going to have to do a few more coats than just this first one. But once again, you guys, I think this is going to give us a clean, smoother look for our project that we come in. And right now I'm not sure what we're doing with it yet, but we're going to get this painted, and then we're going to come in and paint our matting as well on off camera. You guys, I will continue the process of painting. I don't want to bore you guys too much, but I am coming in with that same drop cloth color. And first I thought I was just going to paint the backing or the matting here and leave the print, but the more I started painting and the more I started looking, it looked really drabby to me. So then I decided, and I wasn't really loving the artwork in the first place, so I went ahead and decided to go ahead and paint the picture. You guys let me know if you like the picture with the white and everything, but it's kind of too late either way, but I would have liked to know either way. So I'm going to come in with a couple of coats of this white. Now this cardboard is drinking up this paint, so one thing I suggest is to go over with the sealer first and then come in with your paint. Initially, I wanted to add some book pages to the back, just ripping up an old book here that I had on hand. Just kind of want that wording look in the background. But as I'm working through this and trying to figure out what this piece really wants to be, and I cut out the pieces and Mod Podged them into those centers, kind of changed my mind on this piece. So I went ahead, and after I glued those in, they weren't thoroughly dry, so I pulled them apart and took off that backing. I'm going to figure out what I want to put in the center here, but for right now I decided to come in with this beautiful blue paint inlay from IOD, and I'm going to once again come back in with my drop cloth color. And you want to layer up your paint or a sealer on there because you want a wet product to press in that paint inlay so that paint from the paper adheres to your piece. So we're going to come in a generous coat of that paint, layer in our inlay, pressing firmly with my hand, making sure it's really embedded into the piece. Now, if I don't have it all down properly, that's okay with me. I like some of this to look a little bit weathered as well. I came in with a wet paper towel and I am now dabbing in that inlay, just giving you the difference between one wet and one dry. And we're going to go ahead and let this thoroughly dry, and then we'll move on to our next step. So I'll just let this air dry. You can also come in with your heat tool and dry it that way. But now that it's dry, everything's stuck to the surface. So you do come back in. You can use your water spritzer here, or I'm just coming in with a wet paper towel, reapplying that water back onto my inlay so I can remove my paper. I'll just work it and lift as I go. And once again, you guys, I wanted a very different look to where it's not so vibrant and so perfect on this piece. So I didn't put too much paint on there to really seal it in, but if you want that look, you can go ahead and do a little bit more paint and wet your paper before you place it down on your piece, or wet your matting in this case before you place your whole inlay down on your piece. So once I have this all removed, you do not want to come in with a sealer, as in a paintbrush and a sealer, because you will smear this paint. It is actual paint laid into that matting here. Setting those aside to dry, we're going to work on our frame, coming in with Dixie Belle's clear top coat here, and I'm just going to thoroughly place all that wax on that frame. That's going to seal in our paint product here and give us a finished look. Now, once you have your wax on, you do want to come in and wipe off any of the excess and buff off your wax for a smooth surface. Now, this is the part where I forgot about the whole smearing piece. So this is what happens here. See how it smears? That wax reactivates that paint and smears it everywhere. So if this happens to you, just go ahead and cover up your piece once again with your paint and redo your inlay in that spot. In my case, I have a really distressed look, so it's not going to affect it at all. It's going to continue on. Now, this is the piece I already sprayed with the clear on top, and you see how everything is going on fine once I add that wax in. So now we're going to come in and fill in that center. I still haven't quite decided what's going in this center. This project is giving me a little bit of a difficulty trying to figure it out. Can't really pinpoint which direction I want to go. But then I found these little bird images here, and I can't give you the link. I think somebody sent them to me, and I'm just going to go ahead and trim out the bird images to the size of the backing and Mod Podge that into the center here. Pressing firmly with my hand, making sure all those corner pieces are in, and just kind of smoothing things out with my finger. Now, with me, I don't mind the wrinkles in some of the pieces, because when I come in to layer paints and waxes like I'm doing here, it kind of blends into those little wrinkles, embeds in there, and it gives you a little bit of a texture look in the back. I go ahead and do the same for the next picture, add that Mod Podge and add the second image here. Now you notice that little bird in that corner is still kind of hanging out there. So we're going to come in, and as we layer in with our drop cloth here, we can go ahead and cover up that bird as well. I'm just going to kind of blend into this piece with that drop cloth around the edges. Come in with some black wax by Dixie Belle. I'm using whatever's on my brush here and just really working that wax into the piece. And I will do that for both frames here, edges of my cardstock or my frame, blending in heavily more on those corners and just blending everything together so it has more agey, kind of dingy, I guess, kind of look here, you guys. So that's where we're going to stop now, and I repeat the process on the second one. I also come in with a little bit more of that drop cloth and give us a little bit of a halo around our image, and then repeat
that dark wax on top. I add them to our frames, and then I come in with a little bit of dark wax around the edges, and then here is our transformation here. A little bit of a cottage shabby chic kind of vibe going on with these vintage upcycles. So I hope you guys like this style. It wasn't the direction I was first going into, but I think they came out beautiful, and it's great for one of those cottage country shabby chic vibes in your bathroom, kitchen, wherever, your living room, wherever you want to place them. Let me know what you think of these two down in the comments.
Well, we have reached the end of the video. I thank you all for joining me today. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and notification bell on the way out. Leave me a comment down below which one of these projects was your favorite. And you guys, tomorrow, Thursday, at 12 noon, come join me over on Whatnot. I'll have that link in the description. You guys all have a beautiful day, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye, friends.